Yeah.
Okay. All right, y'all ready? Okay. So this is our board of directors presentation for our company, Dialed Cycles. I'm Dalton Collins. I'm the president of the company, and I'm over finance.
My name is Joseph Nicoletti, and I'm head of sales.
My name is Ashley Pratt, and I'm head of human resources.
My name is Brisa Roblero, and I'm head of manufacturing.
And my name is Matias Luna, and I'm the head of marketing.
So for our second year of financial performance, we performed really well in terms of our previous position back in quarter three. We finished fourth in overall performance for all 6 quarters, but we have grown exponentially since quarter one, and we've made moves to continue to grow and to continue building our company, and then so I'm sure with time that will change. In the last quarter alone, we brought in $3 million worth of revenue. And then our profit for quarter six came out to be around 1.5 million, which was a 344% increase from our quarter three. And from quarter three, we grew 144% in profit from quarter one. So as you can see, we're growing at a very fast rate. And then we finished with a cumulative financial performance rate of 11.1. We finished second in cumulative investment in the future, which just means that we're continuing to invest in our company and all of our products to grow in production and in sales. And we came close to tying with Petal Lane in total wealth. Our total wealth was down just a little because of the number of investments we kept making to grow. But all in all, our company is actually very proud of how we finished and how we performed all the way up to quarter six. So our second year of market performance, the company built and sold 4 bikes. At the end of quarter three, we had 2 bikes, and then we had the single track, and then the enduro, and then we added on the Valley Rider, which is our new mountain bike, and then we made the Enduro 3. And then, so whenever you look at the total market share for all 6 quarters, we ended up having 19.3% of the entire market share with only 2 types of bikes. We did not make a speed bike. We just stayed focused on mountain bikes and recreational bikes. So that figure is actually fairly impressive. We had 22% of the total market share in mountain bikes in quarter six, and then we had 27% of the market share in recreational bikes on the last quarter, which is an increase in market share from quarter five. And at the end of quarter six, we had made and sold 2,815 bikes, and we sold every single bike that we had made.
So I'm going to talk about the key features of the marketing strategy. First, concerning the price, we wanted to offer a variety of bikes that would represent the different people's needs and budgets. However, we didn't want to follow the low price strategy, and neither did we want to be the highest priced brand of the market. So that's why the prices of our 4 bikes were, for the Valley Rider, it costed $1,300. The single track bike costed $1,200. The Enduro 3 costed $1,100, and the Enduro 2.0 costed $950. Concerning the product, we sold 4 bikes, as mentioned before, which were the Valley Rider and the single track, which were more adventurous mountain bikes. And we also sold the Enduro 2.0 and the Enduro 3 that were created in order to satisfy recreational bikers' needs. Concerning the promotion, we decided to promote those bikes through different set of magazines. So, for example, the Single Track and the Valley Rider were being promoted in every type of magazine except the leisure and entertainment ones, whereas the Enduro 2.0 and the Enduro 3 were being promoted mostly in the leisure and entertainment, health and fitness, and journal magazine. However, at one point of our project, we noticed that we had the biggest response that any cycling firm had on the internet, which is why we decided to focus more in the search engine management and the social media marketing. And we also added more brand ads as we produce more type of bikes. Finally, concerning the places, we ended up selling our products both in physical stores and through the internet all over the world. So our physical stores were in New York and Rio de Janeiro, and then we proceeded to open two more, one in Bangalore and one in Amsterdam, which allowed us to be present in every region of the world.
So for the key features presented in our business plan for the sales channel strategy, we opened stores in Rio, New York City, Amsterdam, and Bangladesh as stated. Within the next few years, we hope to open up more stores to increase exposure to our brand. And we are also continuously revising our web store to make it as up to date as possible so we can grow and adapt to the changing times over the years.
Okay, so our company knows that our employees are a driving force of our business, and we want to take care of them the best that we can, which is why in last quarter we raised our benefits package. So our sales force raised salary to $32,500, upgraded health benefits to full coverage, vacation to 2 weeks, raised pensions to 5%, and we got over 81% satisfaction. Production workers, we raised salary to $30,500, health benefits to full coverage, upgraded vacation to 3 weeks instead of 2 weeks, raised pensions to 7%, and over 92% satisfaction. So in the human resources, but we're just still trying to make sure that we are making our employees happy.
Okay. So for the first thing I'm going to talk about is that we ended up using overtime in the last quarter. And since we expanded to 1 hour of overtime, we didn't end up purchasing any additional printers, and we were able to produce almost right at the demand amount without losing too much in sales. Plus, it was also cheaper to invest in a 1 hour overtime than to buy another printer within that quarter. We raised productivity. We wanted to increase employee productivity from 85% to 91%. We ended up reaching that goal at 92%. We lowered excess operating capacity. We mentioned wanting to lower it from around 35% to around 20 to 25%. And we actually ended up lowering this percentage to 0. We did not increase our salespeople online as we wanted to from our business plan. We did not get to our goal of increasing our numbers of people, as I mentioned, which turned out to be okay because they had the least amount of sales and was only at around 356 sales last quarter, and it was projected to be around the same in the next upcoming quarter.
So in terms of the features that we presented in the business plan for our financial strategy, we did follow this very well. We watched our current investments at the time, and then we built off of them. Like for example, at the time, our big issue was that we needed to add printers to increase our level of productivity and to meet our demand. And so we added another printer. And then as we grew into more putting out more storefronts, our demand kept continuing to grow. So we kept adding more printers to meet that demand. And then we lowered the price on our bikes, and our new bikes that have our research and development, they were sold at a more reasonable price. And then we did that to compete more and to increase our demand. And it worked out very well for us. We set our price at a very competitive number in terms of the other bike manufacturers. And then we invested in research and development in new technology in our bikes. We developed four new features, sorry, for our bike. We had the super traction mountain tires, which were going to be used on our mountain bikes, and it's a highlighted feature on the Valley Rider. And then we added the Power Straight handlebar, which also went on the Valley Rider, to be able to withstand the tough jumps, and it was just more rugged. And we did that to better meet the needs of our consumers who wanted to ride mountain bikes. We added the 11-speed gears. It was lighter, and it tackled the steep inclines, just made it easier to pedal. Overall, that was a very good investment for us, because we were able to use that on both the Enduro 3 and in the mountain bikes, because it actually made it lighter, which was an important thing for recreational bike users. And then for the mountain bikes, we also added a full suspension shock absorbers, whereas before it was only on one side of the bike, but we added more to be able to withstand all the adventures that our consumers were putting them through, just to make it a little more comfortable for them, and then just to be able for the bike to handle better. And then we invested in search engine marketing, and we were actually getting the most clicks of any company, and so we topped our competitors in number of clicks. And then we also invested in building a social media platform to market with.
Okay, so actions that we took against the business plan. So we upgraded the business package. We upgraded the benefits package for both production and sales employees. So that was a good hit for us. We also originally wanted to get rid of overtime. However, we ended up adding overtime, and in total, we added an hour at the end of the quarter 6.
So some of the departures from our business plan, in our business plan under financial request, we originally stated that we wanted to hire an investor and not take out a loan. But in the end, we ended up taking the loan because we were making larger investments in research and we wanted to make sure we had enough money to do so. Also on our business plan under marketing strategy, we stated that we are looking to decrease magazine advertising, which we did do, but we ended up using more magazine advertising as we increased or had got more bikes. As far as social networking, we removed it altogether from our business plan due to it being too expensive with not enough results.
So the first thing I will list is that we invested in research and development while gaining more research and development for our bikes and applying them when we needed them. We used a pretty good amount and adjusted our bikes with newer research to please our customers to our advantages. So we opened all 4 locations and online, as we have mentioned before. So with our newest addition within the second year, which was Amsterdam and Bangalore, demand distribution by channel. So from the 4th quarter going into the 5th quarter, there was a huge jump in demand in the stores with all the companies. However, for the 4th quarter, we had the 4th highest percent, but when it came to the 5th quarter, we had the 2nd highest percent. Whereas for our web center, it was the opposite. We went down. And in the 7th quarter, we remained with the 2nd highest percent in stores. We didn't reach our market share goal This is because other companies had to start and invest in all three categories, which was recreational, mountain, and speed. But we didn't care to be a company that invested in speed, which gave other companies an advantage with a high market share. So each quarter, there was an increase in the world market under paid SEM results for mountain bikes. We kept the most clicks up until the last quarter, which Carbon Bikes took from us, but it was because we didn't adjust our budget leading into the same budget for the next quarter.
So I'm gonna talk about the current situation of the market. So our biggest strength were the future investments. So as mentioned before, almost every big investment that we made for the future, such as opening new stores in different countries, ended up working fine for us. They actually made us have an increase in the money that we gained. We also had a strength in asset management because, as mentioned before, every quarter we managed to increase the amount of money that we were gaining. Then we also had a big strength in marketing effectiveness. That's thanks to our investment in research and development that allowed us to build better bikes. And we also had a big strength in human resource management because we were recognized as the best place to work within the biking industry, having the most productive workers in the entire industry. However, our biggest weaknesses were that we were underpriced by other teams, which affected the amount of demand that we received. We also had low operating capacity utilization, and our manufacturing productivity wasn't the best.
So how we prepared the firm for the future, as mentioned before, we invested in research and development in 4 different features of our bikes. And overall, that will improve our product line. People will know our name more, and all of that combined will project to increase our number of sales. We also made numerous upgrades to our assets to increase our operating capacity, which means that we'll be able to produce more bikes to sell in the future. Kind of what I mentioned before with our printers. There was one quarter that we had that we didn't have the number of printers that we needed to meet our demand. So we kind of had to scramble to meet that demand. But going into the future, we're fairly confident in the number of printers we have to keep up with our demand. The company upgraded its social media stance by adding video sharing platforms, which will increase our demand and our sales, just to kind of help get our name out there. And as long as we keep adding to it, maintaining it, we're very confident that social media stance will prove to be effective for us. And since the end of the first year, we became a global presence and we built stores in all 4 possible locations. And so we're in every region of the world. And then we also increased the productivity of our web sales center. And for our Q6, our web sales center sold the most bikes in comparison to the quarters behind us. The lessons we learned, we never really quit learning throughout this entire or the entirety of the 6 quarters. The biggest thing that we learned is that we learned that we can't be afraid to make larger investments in order to make our business grow. And being conservative with our investment strategy, while it decreases our risk, it can greatly cost us in future sales and total performance in the future. We kind of, through the first 2 quarters, I would say, we were fairly conservative with our investment strategy, and it allowed our competitors to get a jump on us. But we very quickly realized that we can't be conservative when it comes to investing, and we have to take risks. in order to grow. And then, so as time went on, we ended up investing more and focused more on being able to grow our company. And it's paid off well for us. We also learned that we don't want to rely on overtime because it can be very expensive. Um, and in the short run, I will admit it's helped us, but in the long run, it's best that we have the operating capacity to be able to um, meet our demand and to build the number of bikes that we're shooting for. And we learned just how quickly or just how heavily pricing affects the sensitivity of our demand. Going into quarter two and quarter three, our bikes were a little pricier, and it was affecting our demand. And it cost us a little bit in the market share of those few quarters. And then we adjusted our demand, or we adjusted our pricing, and it greatly improved our market share, which increased our demand and it increased the number of sales we had, which helped us make more money to grow and reinvest and to continue to grow. And the company's learned just how vital market research is to the growth and the development of the company. Um, I mean, throughout the entire process, we used our market research, and for the most part, we very accurately calculated our demand, and it helped us make investment decisions. It helped us know how to build our bikes. It helped us know how to build our advertisements. All in all, it was a very vital part to our company. And that's everything for our board of directors meeting. Thank you very much.